Hello everyone, my name is Sudheesh. Today I'm going to talk about research that I do entitled Guardians of the Immortals. So as organisms, we age and immortality is something we always relate to aging. So if you look at the oldest known organism, which is the ocean quahog, it lives for 507 years. But as humans, we live on average for about 70 to 80 years old. But the real question is it possible to live longer? We as a lab are interested in one such flatworm called as Mediterranean. It's a free-living freshwater flatworm. If you look here, you can see some planarians floating around, and you can see its belly in red color because we have given it food mixed with red dye to track its feeding behavior. But what makes them so cool is their ability to regenerate. So regeneration is the ability to regrow any lost body part or replace any damaged body part. So as humans, our liver has the ability to do it, but it's only partial. But as planarians, they can replace any lost tissue part, which is seen here. If you cut the organism into 7 different pieces, you get new 7 organisms, which is really good because this has immense potential when it comes to regenerative therapy. But what is the reason behind it? The reason behind such high potential of regeneration is because of specialized cells called as neoblasts. So neoblasts are planarian stem cells. As you can see here, these red dots shows neoblasts present inside planarians. So stem cells are specialized cells that have the ability to make a copy of themselves and also other types of cells. Planarian neoblasts can also form different type of tissues while keeping their self-renewal. They have different types of functions, like for example, from waste removal to eating and even to movement. But what makes the stem cells so important? That means if the stem cell is defective, any type of cell produced from the stem cell will ultimately become defective, which is dangerous for an organism like planarians, which has high potential for regeneration. So what makes our cells sick? I think this is an example which is very familiar to us for the past 3, 4 years, which is the SARS-CoV-2, a type of virus. Our body has mechanisms to protect against it. So our body has cells which have specialized proteins that act as sensors. So these proteins detect infections, sending signals to the cell and also to the neighboring cell, thereby protecting our body. This mechanism is called as immunity. So immunity can be of two types. They can be either innate or adaptive. Innate immunity, as here mentioned, it's quick, non-specific, and clears any type of infectious agent. While adaptive is more long-term and specific, and it involves different types of cell and specialized proteins called as antibodies. And we humans rely on these antibodies for our protection against viruses, as we have seen in the recent case of pandemic. However, this is not the case for other organisms because more than 90% of the organism does not have this adaptive immunity. That means they don't have antibodies in their body and they have to solely rely on their innate immunity for protection. So the real question is, how do they protect themselves? To understand this, we have to understand how a virus replicates in the cell. So viruses upon infection releases everything inside it into the host cell cytoplasm. For example, here the virus upon infection releases its viral RNA, which further hijacks the host machinery to produce new viruses. However, stem cell doesn't allow this. The moment the viruses release the viral RNA into the stem cell cytoplasm, it somehow detects this viral RNA using specific proteins and degrades it. So this is very unusual and an interesting mechanism. And this is also the case in planarians. Planarians have a virus which is called as Mediterranean virus. It infects his brain and eye, as you can see here, and it does not infect any of his stem cells. So we wanted to understand how this happens and how stem cells are able to protect from such viral infections. So to understand this question, we took different types of nucleic acid that resembles viruses and injected in them into planarians to see how the planarians respond to it. And to our surprise, they responded very significantly and very uniquely. So each row here represents one type of protein, and the red means that they have expressed very highly, blue means they are underexpressed. So as you can see, by 3 hours, when we injected double-stranded RNA, we saw a lot of proteins go up. But this was different in case of single-stranded RNA, where this happened in as less as 30 minutes, and for double-stranded DNA as well. So this shows that planarians have the ability to uniquely select and respond to different types of pathogens. So right now we are trying to understand this mechanism